I hear this all the time. I'd like to write a novel, but I just don't have the time. But who in Lord's year 2026 is given the time to write a novel? Very few, I'm sure. So you have to take the time. And you do that by using the time that you already have. There are no magical solutions, but you can use my friction-free time management system if you want to write a novel in 2026. I have 2 children, I'm self-employed, and my brain is riddled with ADHD, and I still manage to squeeze out full novels just using the time that I already have, my trusted notebooks, and a free software. In this video, I'm giving you 4 strategies for writing novels, even if you're a busy modern person. Because let's be real, who's got the money for a maid anyway? You have to clean the litter boxes and do the laundry. If you're new here, hi, I'm Katri, I'm your new writing bestie, and this is Protagonist Crafts, the place for people who are kind of obsessed with that whole writing thing. An important part of making this system work is recognizing the different stages of the novel writing process. Writing a novel is a massive, overwhelming task, but research the kind of houses that middle-class people lived in the Victorian times is not. Write the end of the book sounds daunting, but draft the 54th scene does not. Don't think of writing a novel. Think of the specific task that you need to do next or right now. Different tasks in the novel writing process, they need different time, focus, and energy levels. You don't have to do it like A, B, C, D, E. If you did B yesterday, but now would be the perfect time for X, do that. But don't do your X because you don't have the time for that. Some of the things in this video might sound a bit obvious, but are you actually doing these things? Because just knowing them isn't enough. Anyway, let's get started. Strategy number 1 is use your dead time. So when you think of writing time, it might be like, oh, I need to sit down at my desk. I need to have the perfect cup of coffee in my hands. It needs to be quiet. It needs to be tidy. But the reality, it might be different. Your best writing session could actually be you and your notebook waiting for the dentist. So think of all the times when you're waiting for something, like you're waiting for the pasta to boil, or for the coffee to drip. You're at the doctor's office and they're going to be late anyway. So why not bring your notebook and scribble some notes about your novel? Maybe you finished all your other tasks and you have 15 minutes before you need to go somewhere. Don't think, well, I'm going to need an hour. Use that 15 minutes. If you're concerned that you will get too swept away in writing, that you'll forget that you needed to go somewhere, do set yourself a timer. I will not take responsibility if you forget to pick up your kids from school. And honestly, a notebook of your choice, it's the perfect way to do this. They are portable, they are inexpensive, and just like you can have multiple notebooks. Unlike with a laptop, you've got just the one laptop. It's not that easy to bring with you. You might not spontaneously have it with you, and you have to worry about, breaking it, losing it. Just a notebook is the perfect companion for you if you're trying to write a novel and you don't have loads of time to sit at your writing desk. And what I would recommend doing with all those notebooks is solve problems beforehand. Usually when you get stuck writing your story, it's because you have a problem there, but you don't have the solution. Well, think of those problems and their solutions before you start writing your first draft, and that way you won't be wasting your precious writing time. You can also jot down any ideas that you get on all those interesting tidbits that you might use in your story, and you'll end up with this trove of material for your story. And this is honestly my best tip, and it's so simple, but are you doing it? Please do it. Write down a question that you have about your story and then answer it, and just keep doing this. You will think about these things without even realizing it, and then the right answer, it will come to you eventually, and then go and write that down. You won't remember it, write it down, or leave yourself a voice note or something like that. We can talk about different methods of outlining in a different video, but I would recommend having some kind of an outline about your story once you've got all these materials gathered and the problem solved. And when you're doing this, a sort of outline or even just a timeline of your story's events, often you will find more questions to answer, and that's good. Do all this stuff beforehand. And then when you're done with that, you can even start writing your first draft by hand. And yes, writing by hand, it does take a longer time. But if you can work with your little notebook, 15 minutes per day, that is a lot longer than if you can just be 1 hour per week on your computer on uninterrupted time, it will amount to a lot more. Also, like, why not do both? You can write on the computer, and when you're away from the computer, you continue writing by hand, and then you transcribe what you written to the computer. When I was still writing my full first drafts by hand, I'd first have a scene list made. And when I started writing, I would have the number of the scene at the top of the page, and then I would number the pages so that it would be easier to find what I was looking for and just remember where I was. And I had, I think, 1-year-old and a 3-year-old when I wrote full first draft that way, and it only took me 3 months. So it is doable. Try it. Even if you don't want to write by hand or for some reason you can't, you should still utilize all the dead time you have in your day, whether you're writing, with your laptop or maybe typing ideas in your, I don't know why I'm holding my phone. So type some ideas on your phone. I bet your notes app is a very interesting place. And my strategy number 2 is have a friction-free writing system. So we already kind of touched on this, but have a writing system that has zero friction, that is easy to access. So for me, it's notebooks and a software called YWriter. But for you, it could be your notes app, it could be voice memos, or it could just be having like your laptop in the kitchen island, so that it's in the middle of everything and easy to access for you. My daughter asked me the other day, like, wouldn't it be fun, Mummy, if you wrote with a quill? I was like, yeah, that would be fun, but unfortunately I'm extra enough as it is, and that sounds remarkably difficult. So yeah, maybe don't use a quill for a friction-free writing system. Unless, of course, that is the thing that works for you. No judgments here. So if you end up writing somewhere else besides your computer, you could maybe like once a week rewrite your notes to, on your laptop, transcribe your voice memos and stuff like that. But what I do is just, currently I'm able to even write my first drafts on the laptop, but I've got loads of ideas and a full novel outline in my notebooks. And when I start writing my first draft, I move on to YWriter. It's a fantastic software. I talked about it on my video about free software for writers. And it's just so uncomplicated. I love it. And I work on my story scene by scene, and it makes it so easy to organize it and stuff. Whatever you end up using, do remember to keep it friction free. So maybe don't start learning a whole new software at this point, unless it's only going to take you like 5 minutes. If you've never used Scrivener and you're a very busy person, maybe don't spend the time on trying to figure out how to use it. I'm sure it's a fantastic software, but I've tried using it before and I felt the learning curve was, very steep. Don't start fiddling with font sizes and, line height on Word. Doesn't matter at this point at all. And do your Windows updates when you're not writing so that you don't end up looking at the little percentage icon there for like half an hour when you should already be writing. Why does it always take so long when you're busy? And really, this might sound obvious, but I just can't emphasize it enough how important it is to make it work for you and for your life. You don't need to use any kind of method or software or system that doesn't work for you. It's easy to get this mindset, from school that you can't do things your way. You need to do things this way, even if it's difficult and feels stupid. You're writing a novel because you want to. There's no one watching over you to make sure that you're doing it the only correct way. None of that is true. Do it the way that works for you. And who cares, like how, I don't know, Margaret Atwood is writing? She would never tell you that you have to write the same way as she does. So make it work for you. That's the only thing that matters. And my strategy number 3 is micro sprints. I mean, yeah, a 1-hour writing sprint sounds great, but why dismiss 10 minutes? Just set a timer, write furiously, and don't look back. Missing a comma or 3, misspelling every other word, doesn't matter. Just write. In order for you to make any kind of progress with your writing, you do have to have some sort of material for you to edit. So if your writing is quick and dirty, good. You're writing something, you've got material. And this is why you solved all those problems beforehand. Now you can focus on actually writing your story instead of thinking. Thinking takes way too much time and energy. You don't have the time for that if you want to be a writer. Think first. then write. And don't fall into these ego games of, I need more time to write. If only I had more time. I need an hour. I need 8 hours a day to write in order to be a writer. Mm-mm. No. And this is a bit of tough love, but just listen closely. If you're not using the time that you already have on writing, are you sure? Are you really, really sure that if you were given some extra time, would you actually use that on writing? Just be honest. Or would you actually use that time to do some more work or maybe do laundry? So start from using the time that you already have, even if it's 10 minutes while you're waiting, I don't know, for the pasta to boil, whatever. The 20 minutes that your children will leave you alone. And then when you get more time, you will naturally actually use that on writing, but don't dismiss the little bits of time that you already have. Do these little micro sprints, write like your life depends on it, and you will be making progress sooner than you realize. And the strategy number 4, the final one, is match the task to your energy levels. When your life is busy and just full of stuff, you're not just short on time, you're also short on energy and bandwidth. And I'm talking about your brain, not your Wi-Fi. If you don't have the energy to write a big emotional scene, even though that's the next scene you should be writing, do something else. If you've got your outline, it makes it remarkably easy to write out of order. I don't like writing out of order, but I would if I had to. And this is why I made you think about these different stages of writing. Maybe you don't have the energy to think of the timeline of your historical fiction novel, but you do have the energy to research whether they actually ate potatoes at that time in that country. And maybe you're editing your novel and there is going to be a video about editing at some point this year, maybe next month. But if you're feeling overwhelmed by the task, like, oh, I need to edit all this stuff, then don't take a paragraph that you need to edit or only think I'm only going to edit this character's dialogue. Just what do you have the energy level for? Do that thing, even if it isn't actually next on your to-do list. But also think of what might give you more energy so that you can focus on your writing more. So maybe first you need to watch an interesting YouTube video about something inspiring to get you in the mood for writing. Or maybe you want to talk to your best friend and have them complain about this lazy coworker that they have to get you in this headspace for writing about these imaginary people. Or maybe you need to do a workout. That definitely helps me. So think of things that give you energy and go do those things. But also protect your energy and your writing time. When you should be focusing on your writing, don't let someone rope you into family gossip or complaining about the weather or some such. If it's going to bring your energy levels down, and if you decided I'm going to write now and there isn't like an emergency happening somewhere, then be like, this is my writing time. I will see you in 15 minutes. Once this timer has gone, beep, 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 then you can bother me, but not until then. Be the boss of your writing, because if you're not, then someone else will be, and that won't be any good for your writing progress. So no more waiting for a sabbatical or for the perfect writing retreat in a castle in France. Make your writing routines look ugly and messy, because that's going to help you make far more progress than fiddling with your perfect aesthetic writing corner. If you'd like an easy way to plan your story, you're going to need my simple plotter. And after that, you can subscribe and I will see you in another video.